Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Lazarus here, and today we're going to be talking about my 10 most favorite algae eaters that will make a huge difference in your aquarium. Just remember though, you're still going to need to do your weekly maintenance, as these fish won't do everything for you. But with that all been said, let's dive into the video. Autosyncless Catfish, Autos for short, are gorgeous, cute little fish that will clean the aquarium fast and efficiently. They have little suckers as their mouth that they use to eat the algae. They will graze off algae off the glass and ornaments, and even the plants. These fish prefer to be in groups and can thrive in a range of water parameters. These fish grow to a maximum size of 5 centimeters, which is pretty small for an algae eater. But they need to be in a minimum tank size of 10 gallons because they love lots of room to swim around. They prefer to be in temperatures from 22 to 28 degrees Celsius and a pH of 6 to 7.5. Tank mates, any small community fish will be fine with the Autosyncless Catfish. Foods and feeding, these fish will eat any algae wafers and leftover foods. They are a bit of a scavenger, but that's what they eat aside from algae. Hillstream Loaches are fascinating little ones. They will be constantly grazing on algae and also do an exceptionally good job at keeping the fish tank clean. Hillstream Loaches will reach a maximum size of 4 centimeters, so they'll need to be in a minimum tank size of 20 gallons, as these fish need lots of space in the glass to swim around and suck on the algae. Their preferred temperatures are 18 to 26 degrees Celsius and pH 6.5 to 7.5. Tank mates, any small peaceful fish, again, are fine with these, as they won't bother any other aquarium fish and mind their own business. Foods and feeding, algae wafers and leftover foods, once again, is preferred for Hillstream Loaches. Number 3 on the list is one you can't leave out on a best algae eating fish list. It is the Siamese algae eaters. Although many don't read the labels of these fish at their local fish store and can mistake them for flying foxes, these may seem like the same fish, but they have entirely different roles in an aquarium. The top part of the photo is a Siamese algae eater, then the bottom part is the Siamese flying fox. So you don't want to mix them up, as Siamese algae eaters will do a better job in the aquarium. So before you buy your Siamese algae eater, make sure its scientific name is under Crotochalus oblongus and will possess a black stripe and have no red on its fins. Siamese algae eaters are well known to eat the black fluffy algae called blackbeard algae that can form all over the aquarium and can make the fish tank look gross. But the Siamese algae eater is really the only fish out there that eats this blackbeard algae. Although, like all others, they need proper food and not just algae. These fish grow quite large in an aquarium. People think they can go in 10 gallons or 5 gallons, but grow to a maximum size of 15 centimeters, 6 inches, and they'll need a minimum tank size of 40 gallons. Bigger is preferred, and they love temperatures from 22 to 26 degrees Celsius and a pH from 6.5 to 8.0. These fish are very peaceful and can live with any other peaceful small to medium aquarium fish. Since these fish do get big, you want to have some good medium size that are similar size to them in case they might accidentally eat or kill the other small fish. Foods and feeding, I've fed these fish frozen foods before and they loved it. So they love all little worms that will dig into the substrate. They'll go graze on those and search for them and they'll hunt them down. But they also do fine with algae wafers. Fourth on the list is a sucking catfish, a very, very common aquarium fish, but one of the most poorly treated. These fish will do exceptionally good job at eating the algae on the glass and ornaments in the aquarium, but are underestimated by their size. These fish grow huge, and most people are told that fish like them will grow to the size of the tank, which is true, but not only does it stunt their growth, but it stunts their lifespan, and they'll live very short life if kept in tanks 20 gallons or smaller. Yep, you heard me right. Most people think that if they add this fish into their aquarium, it will be all good and they'll do all the cleaning for them, hence the nickname sucking catfish. Although these fish may do a really good job at eating the fish's leftover food scraps, you still need to keep up with your weekly maintenance. maximum of 30 centimeters. That's one whole length of a ruler. That is huge, so I, in my opinion, recommend a minimum tank size of 100 gallons, but if you can't fit them in a tank that big, then I recommend a pond or nothing at all. Keep the temperatures between 18 to 26 degrees Celsius and the pH from 7.0 to 8.0. Many people have gone up to me and said their fish keep dying, so they leave their sucking catfish by themselves. That's because they keep chasing any fish, and they'll eventually stress them out, and those fish that are being chased by the sucking catfish will die. So sucking catfish have a bit of a temperament where they like to get a bit excited all the time, and they love chasing around the fish until they eventually pass out and die. So you don't want that to happen, so I don't recommend any tank mates with these fish. Maybe some danios would be okay, but other than that, any slow moving fish or longfin or fish with flowing fins is not recommended. Probably the smallest pleco out there are the Bristlenose Plecos. I've kept these fish for many years, and they are by far an awesome fish to watch. When they're young, that is. You will buy Bristlenose Plecos at any pet stores, and most of the time they will be between the sizes of 2 to 4 centimeters, which is quite a small size. When you first introduce them to the aquarium, you will see them out and about all day long, and as they are sucking on all that algae, they grow and grow. In fact, that's why they eat the algae, because it's part of their nature, but also so they can grow. If there is still visible algae in the aquarium, you won't need to feed them anything special until there is none left, or they reach their maximum size of 10 centimeters. When they are fully grown and sexually mature, they are no longer much of an algae eater, and will hide all day and all night if it doesn't have a partner to breed with. If that happens, just drop a sinking algae wafer next to their hideout, and they will come and suck on it immediately after you've left the room. So long term, not the best algae eater, but an awesome and fun fish to watch. In the short term, if you just have a little major algae problem, then they will be perfect for doing what you bought them for. As I said, the Bristlenose Pleco will reach an average size of 10 centimeters and a minimum tank size of 20 gallons. These fish can live in temperatures from 20 to 26 degrees Celsius, a pH of 7.0 to 8.0, and they are compatible with any peaceful small to medium aquarium fish, and they'll eat anything from algae wafers to straight up algae on the glass. Corydoras catfish are cute, adorable little catfish that do a decently good job at keeping an aquarium clean. All day you'll see them as a school digging their barbels deep into the substrate, scavenging for food scraps. These fish aren't really algae eaters, but they certainly do a good job at picking out all the leftover food in the substrate. These fish are schooling fish and like to be in a school of at least 3, but 6 is better. But sometimes they like to be by themselves. So before you buy them, do your research and see what cory catfish you're after will need. But in general, these fish are pretty hardy. Cory catfish will grow to an average size of 4 to 8 centimeters depending on which type you get. They will need a minimum tank size of 10 to 20 gallons. So as I said, there are many varieties out there, so make sure to do your research before you specifically buy one that you really like. They will require a pH of 6.0 to 7.5, and they are peaceful and are compatible with any small peaceful aquarium fish. These fish like a varied diet and will eat anything from pellets, algae wafers, freeze-dried and live and frozen foods, and any other leftover dried foods. As they're big scavengers, they'll eat anything meaty with lots of nutrition. These algae eaters are, and probably you've already figured it out, are not fish. They are an aquatic animal called snails, and I mean aquarium snails, not the land animal called snails. These creatures may not be the most fast and efficient cleaners, but they'll certainly make a difference in your aquarium with all the other algae eaters. Just make sure you don't have any fish in with them that have a tendency to eat snails, such as loaches. My Pakistani loaches love snails, so make sure the fish you have currently don't have snails as part of the diet. There are many aquarium snails out there in the pet stores. If you are looking for smaller ones, then that can go in a tank as well as small as a 5 gallon, then nearite snails will be great for that. But if you have a bigger tank and you're looking for some bigger and bulkier snails, then assassin snails or mystery snails are also great. Just know that assassin snails will overtake and eat nearite snails due to the large size comparisons. But wait, what if I told you you didn't need to buy snails? What if there's a way you can just get snails to magically appear in your aquarium? Feeding your fish fish flakes will attract any snails nearby and will join as part of the aquarium. If there are starting to be too many wild snails in the tank, then get a loach, for example Pakistani loach, and they'll control it. These 4 types of shrimp do a great job at maintaining ugly algae in an aquarium. Most shrimp do a great job, but these shrimp do the most efficient and fast way of eating most of it. Ghost shrimp are very small and can live in both extreme cold and extreme warm. Cherry shrimp are also tropical red shrimp that will thrive in well-planted aquariums with small nanofish such as betas. Neocaridina shrimp, well, there are so many different color variations out there, it's insane. But a mono shrimp, on the other hand, are the best algae eater out of all of them, and will eat almost any string algae, such as hair algae. Just make sure that if you're keeping any of these shrimp with bigger fish, that you keep the fish and the shrimp heavily fed and have lots of plants and vegetation in the tank to ensure that the shrimp have places to hide in if being attacked by fish. Overall, one other insane algae eater that will make life easier. Yes, we have another catfish on the list. What are the odds? Except this time it's called a whiptail catfish, a large exotic catfish which are fairly rare at most pet stores, but you'll always see the occasional tank stocked with these catfish. Whiptail catfish have a distinctive long tail that can be used to threat predators. Although these fish aren't the best algae eaters, they will eat any slimy algae or leftover foods on the substrate, but in general are a great fish to keep. As they grow as a young juvenile, they will be eating lots, but once at maximum age, they will stop eating algae and, just like the bristlenose, will require specialized prepared foods. So if you're a beginner in the aquarium hobby and you're just finding a fish that will help you out with the algae situation, this fish isn't probably the best for you. In fact, it's recommended for really only advanced aquarists unless you can match the right tank requirements. Whiptail catfish grow to a maximum size of 20 centimeters, so they're pretty big. You will need a tank size of at least 30 gallons, the temperatures between 24 to 28 degrees Celsius, and a pH of 6.0 to 7.5. These fish are very aggressive, so make sure to keep them with any large predatory fish once they're fully grown, or keep them in a species-only tank. These fish love meaty foods and will eat any specialized prepared foods and even live foods. Now we have a loach on the list. Yay! Although I don't recommend you keeping snails and clown loaches together, as they have a tendency to eat snails. Clown loaches are probably my favorite loach, as they have a very distinctive orange and black stripe patterning on the sides of their bodies, and are very active eaters. They will go nuts at feeding time, trust me. The loaches are schooling fish, though, and need to be in a group of at least 5 or more if you want to make them feel really happy. These fish will graze on some algae on plants and gravel, but are more of a fun fish than a vigorant algae eater, but they will still make that little difference in your aquarium. Clown loaches are pretty hardy but very big. They'll grow to a maximum size of 20 centimeters, so ensure that your tank is 40 gallons or more. If you can make it bigger, that would be great. They prefer to be in temperatures from 22 to 28 degrees Celsius and a pH of 6.0 to 7.5. These fish are fairly peaceful but very fast eaters, so I recommend keeping them with fast eating fish that are medium sized, around the same size as the clown loaches. These fish will eat anything, ranging from any wafers, live foods, frozen foods, pellets, or freeze-dried foods. But they will go crazy for frozen bloodworms or even live bloodworms, so keep that in mind. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying these sort of top 10s, then make sure to consider subscribing with the notification bell on, as we're going to be uploading sort of top 10s every week for the next month. So stay tuned. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. With that all been said, have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one.